So now we'll transition into the last part of our evening, where we honor our seniors. So I'm going to ask Parto to stand. Yeah. Right? I'm going to say Parto's first because he has a much longer and probably more excellent speech. No pressure. I've known Parto for about 4 years now, and when I first met him, he was a seeming Zen master. No reactions, no sense that anything was better or worse than anything else. All is Brahma is a phrase you might well have heard him say, if he would stoop so low as to speak at all. I threw my best comedy at him, and I wouldn't even get a smile. That's not usual. We once had a contest to see who could control their laugh most effectively. Kahea and Parto actually tied, neither laughing once. Kahea won, I think, through willpower. Parto won through total detachment. Or so I thought. This year has changed much of what I thought I knew about Parto, which is why I would like to honor Parto with the quality of naturalness, or the art of being. I thought about giving him the art of Parto, but that didn't seem like it would translate to a general audience. Though much of my time with him he has been perennially cool and calculated, the veer has been stripped away more and more recently, and a real, alive, funny, and surprising Parto has appeared. Where once he would sit silently as the boys would make dumb jokes, now he is making the dumb jokes. And it's not that he's lost any of his zenness. He's just discovered a deeper octave of it. That to be truly even-minded requires balance and the self-honesty to discover who it is you actually are. Then having the courage to express it. And that's what I've been most impressed with Parto this year. We all sometimes project an image to the world of how we want to be seen to some degree. We try to be authentic, but we get tripped up. I feel blessed that Parto has reached the point where he trusts us with his true self. Because he is deep, and he can be impersonal, but he is also very sweet. Parto, thank you for your service to the school and your future service to the planet. I know you will be the most famous Lee.
All right. I have been a student here in the school for many years. And the most memorable of these moments were when we took the classroom outside to see the real world and its applications. Instead of reading about tools, we would use them to build greenhouses and bridges. Instead of looking up history and living conditions of immigrants, we would go see them for ourselves. Instead of memorizing rocks, we would go out and see the texture and location of these stones. I would like to thank and honor the teachers and staff at our school who have guided me and helped me throughout these years. And I would also like to thank my parents who came all the way from Hong Kong just to see me get nervous on a stage. And also my siblings who have shown me how these graduation speeches are done. And also my dorm parents. For the last 3 years, I've been living at Banyan House, and first it was Kamran, then Christian and Jaya, and now Christina. And I'm still quite surprised how they tolerated me all these years. And finally, I would like to thank my friends who have supported me and also respected me and my silent self. This year I received the quality of naturalness. I often get qualities like balanced, even-mindedness, calmness. I think naturalness can be represented as a sense of originality. A few years ago, on our boys' trip, it's a yearly trip. This time we decided we'd go on a road trip, and I wasn't quite sure why, but we would go in front of these signs and we'd just take photos in front of them. And this one in specifically said diner, so we all did diner. So I decided, what does this really mean, diner? So I decided to just go down, I swear it's not a gang sign. We did weird things during that time, like egg ceremonies and such things. Anyways, back to naturalness. I don't think this award is specifically for me, but to all the students. I feel as though school seems comfortable being themselves. Every student gets a quality each year. Many years ago, I thought these qualities were just what we've shown, learned, or struggled with. Last year, I took a second look at these awards and didn't say, "Here, Mom, here's my award." For those of you who do not know what it says, "Nanda School recognizes a student for the outstanding development and expression in the area of courage, willpower, or concentration." And now I really can see the significance of this ceremony. And I find that it wasn't just a chance for the teachers to embarrass us. It was a chance to reflect on the past year and see where we have succeeded or failed and where we can learn. So this year, I wanted to specifically honor the teachers for they are the ones that make this school possible. The kindness they have shown to me since day one and the patience is quite remarkable. And lastly, it is the enthusiasm that sparks the students' interest. I have an enormous respect for each teacher. The important aspects in a school are that the students will learn to be independent. In other words, we're preparing students for life's challenges. When you start in middle school, you become aware of student tuition, and first you wonder, how on earth am I going to earn $500 in this year? And I mean, I can hardly get my homework done, and I can't. But with the help of the teachers, it becomes much easier. The student tuition funds the yearly school trip. And I'd like to tell you a story about one of these trips. While in Costa Rica, we stayed at La Tortuga Feliz. And each night, we'd go on a walk to see if we could find the leatherback turtles and their eggs. We would then bring them back to the hatchery, and where they would hatch and go back to the ocean. But these walks were quite unnatural. It seemed like we were on a different planet. It was the splashing ocean. It was dark. And the moonlight was on while we were walking, and we could harvest the coconuts that we found along the trail. But I'm making it seem a little bit more enchanting than it really was. It really was an exhausting walk, and we walked through the night 4 or 5 hours in sand up to your ankles. But I find these are the experiences that really last. Self-discovery, adventure, and service are the values we exercise while on these trips. And with self-discovery, I find that you can only discover that yourself. However, I do see that while meditating and doing yoga and energization, it really helps you with the process to discover who you are. The adventures, we've gone on many trips, and each one different, and yet I see that each one has a deeper meaning. One of the most common questions I get asked is, what are you going to do after you graduate? I usually respond with, oh, I'll be returning to Hong Kong and taking a break for about a year or so. And the next question would be, do you plan on going to college? And here in the US or in Hong Kong? And I respond with, only if I feel so inspired to do so. Recently, one of my friends here from Ananda, after going through a few questions, he gave me some advice. He said, go home, help your parents, then come back in a few years and marry an American girl. I see that attitude is what matters when approaching a problem. At first, when I first arrived in Ananda, I heard a song, and I would like to sing it. Love is all I know, sun rays on the snow of a winter long, in darkness without song. Oh, my heart's afire, burning all desire. Only you remain in life again. Too long I did stray, flung lifetimes away. Imagine you did not care. I know how your smile was mine all the while. I listened and love was there. I can't breathe for love, all the stars above call to me, come home. Life's waves all end in foam. Only love can heal all the pain I feel. What a fool was I to turn away.